Hello, hello, hello. Give me 2 moments. I'm just going to grab my coffee. I will be back in 2 seconds. Oh, we got the dog. Hey, bud. You want to say hi quickly? You come here? Nah. Not having it today. All right, I'll be back in 2 moments. All right. How are you all doing? Welcome, welcome. Oh. Let me just get situated here for a moment. Get my headphones cranking. Orcam, how you doing? Adam, great to have you. Sketchbook open and I'm settled for class. Bloody fantastic to hear it. Faith, welcome. Ghost, how you doing? Travis, welcome back. Alexa, hello, hello. Faith, can't wait for the stream. I love learning opportunities such as this one. Well, I love opportunities to sit down, chat and draw. So it's a win-win. Emmy, how you doing? Is the sound low? Let me know in chat, please. I haven't touched anything since last time, so... Kentaz, welcome back. Artistic, great to have you. Fuck, too hot. Shit, gotta let that cool down. All right. Let us get started, hey? Sounds fine. Thank you, Ghostbite. All right. We've got the bloody screen going. Got the creakiest chair in the world. Check. All right. Get it in sports mode. So, what I'm thinking today, I've been doing a massive deep dive into... it could be louder. All right, let me see what I can do. Test. Test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing. How's that? I just ticked it up just a tad. So I've been going into like a deep dive of like imaginary or invented perspective, right? So I want to start doing this kind of stuff. I want to have complete control over the scenes that I'm creating. So I'm trying to understand things from different angles. So you can see here I sort of had it. And this is based off of, where's our YouTube. What else have we got? I swear I had Pinterest open. Where's Pinterest? There we are. Instagram. So this idea is kind of based off of this one from like ages ago, right? So this is just an idea that I slapped together and posted, but I wanted to kind of like do a little bit more about this. So yeah, it was just an idea, and I've started to do more traditional stuff as well. So like actually I'm sketchbooking. I've drawn more in a sketchbook in the last week than I have probably in my entire life. SRJ, how you doing? So in carrying with that theme, I would like to get our, let's actually close a bunch of these tabs so it's not laggy. What have we got here? That one. Let's close this tab. So I want to do my warm up, right? Also sneak preview. All right. Saw that really quickly. Let's just empty the bin for good measure, just so everything's, I don't know if that's going to help at all. I just don't want lagginess. That's better. All right. So what I want to do is do our regular sort of car warm up. Let's say we've got to throw a bit of color on there. But what I want to do is I want to take this reference image, but I want to draw it from a completely different angle. All right, and practice that, practice perspective. It's tricky, it's frustrating, but the value that you can get from really thinking through this and achieving it is awesome. And I reckon the struggle that you go through to try and the mental gymnastics of doing it is well worth it in the long run, I think. So yep, artistic, that's bang on. Super, how you doing, my friend? Hey, Zeus, welcome, welcome. That's a really good exercise. Faith, I'm hoping so. So let's start. Let's knock these back a little bit. Oh, do we do, or do we just do another layer? I don't know what this is. No, that's just another rando sketch. Let's just do it on here because there's not much on this. This is just me fluffing about. Let's knock it back through this reference image here. Okay, cool. Now I've also been tweaking some brushes as well. Now I'm not too crash hot on like brushes being the be all and end all of everything, but this is quite nice, this one. I'm calling this the flat flowy versus the long skinny line. It's just got a different feel to it, and it's just like very uniform. So enough chatting, let's go. Hey, hope everyone's ready to go. We've got this. Take a quick screenshot if you haven't got it already. I'm looking at you guys on Instagram. If not, hop over to YouTube. That's a better view for you. All right. So what am I looking at here? And what view do I want to do? So I do want to show some of these like, what's the word? Dappled light. That could be kind of fun to do. So I might see if I can do it at like a more extreme angle. So let's say I've been like binge watching so much of like Kim Jong-il's stuff as well. So I want to kind of see if doing a bit of this. And I've got like a lot that I almost want to write notes on what I'm learning so far with it, because there's been some like quite large aha moments for me and habits that I've kind of held onto that don't help me in the slightest. Like, for example, here, the intuition is to show more of the tire, right? Or like front on of the tire, because we want to show stuff we're drawing, we want to show the viewer what it is. But in reality, that tire is probably going to be angled way more down like this, if we think of it just like as a cylinder. Right, so we're not going to see nearly as much of that tire as we otherwise would in different angles. Right, and that's going to probably block out a bunch of the top of that tire, that front wheel. Now you have to bear with me as well, I'm not as fluid at this just yet. But that's, I'm thinking also of doing a separate stream. I mean, I've got all these ideas and not enough time, but this is just what I've been thinking, so don't hold me to it. Of doing like a out of the comfort zone stream, where it's like I'm trying new things or something that I've been really trying to focus on, and it's like out of my comfort zone. I'm not particularly good at it. I'm not like comfortable with it, whether that's a different medium, whether that's a different style, whether that's a different whatever. And then we try and like tackle that on like different streams. I wonder if that would be kind of cool. I don't know. Or it could be boring as shit and no one wants to watch that, and I should just keep it to myself. That is also a possibility as well. So you notice that I'm being very sketchy. Well, not sketchy, but like I'm working things out. I'm not good enough yet just to go like, oh, bing, bang, boom, away we go, just straight with like a brush pen. Yet, you wait. Right, but now what I'm trying to do is show that we're looking on top of this little truck. Still trying to stylize it as well, not being like super like ingrained with the realism of it all, if you know what I'm saying. I kind of want to give this a funky kind of feel to it, so I'm going to knock it back and see if we can curve this perspective even more. And like even here, we're gonna be seeing less of that front part. It's gonna be sort of, if we look at it as a cube, we're gonna be kind of seeing less. We'll be seeing more of the top planes of most of the things, right? Eddie, what's up, Ben? Have you been practicing more with 3D modeling? Not as of late, but I want to, definitely. The real Damien. Hey, I did finally get a screen tablet. This is a Wacom 32-inch Pro Cintiq. I think I said that out of order, but you get the idea. Yeah, this was a not sponsored, just a very lucky grab on Facebook Marketplace. SF, hi Ben, thank you for these great videos and streams. Thanks for popping past. Yeah, Adam, that's why part of the reason why I chose this one, because I did like the shadows on it. So we can still play around with adding these shadows, but we've got to kind of think about them in perspective, you know, in this new perspective that we're working with. So we got the vanishing points kind of coming back this way. The horizon line's way up the top here, and we got these kind of curvy little vanishing points. So we're just going to slowly make our way. Let's see if we can find these shapes. And I think these are like a good little exercise to do as well, so we're not getting overwhelmed with the figure or anything like that. We're just trying to find it. And let's flip the canvas as well. So there might be a little roof rack. Or not a roof rack, like a sunroof kind of thing. Going on there. We're going to be looking at the top of that. So yeah, this is new-ish to me, or this is like a real challenge I'm trying to set for myself as of late. An artistic challenge is to really have control. Do you suggest doing perspective guidelines for doing something like this? I think so. I don't see why not. What I'm trying to do here is understand it. I'm thinking about invisible perspective lines, but I don't think there's a reason why you shouldn't try and draw the perspective lines yourself. I'm kind of just doing it for personal reasons. Like I want to be able to eyeball some of this stuff. And then later on, I might come back through in my own time and see how accurate I was, or see where I could have pushed it a little bit further. Because also, there's a certain quality to some of these freehand looking perspectives where stuff's like just a little bit wonky, but in a nice way, which I quite like. Oh, Devi Animations, you bloody legend. Sick and deep in an art funk. Thanks for keeping me motivated. Devi, hope you're feeling better, my friend. Thank you so much. SF, actually, that would be super interesting to see how a pro tackles things out of his comfort zone. Yep, Faith, you'd like to see that? Cool. Jilang, how you doing? Looking above the truck, I think it'd be below the horizon line. Just did perspective studies last week. Really helpful with box stuff. Yeah. So the horizon line would be way up here, and we kind of got our vanishing points kind of going back up to the horizon line. So yeah, that's what I've been studying a lot of this. And then we'll whip some color on him. I do like the curvilinear stuff as well. So you got the 5-point perspective, which kind of bends my mind a little bit, but more emotion. Anything 4K and above works from like a canvas resolution. Okay. So I think here I've done a little mistake. Like, I mean, there's mistakes all over this thing. But I think the roof, because we're looking on top of it, would actually be potentially a little bit smaller. I don't know. I kind of like it a little bit taller because it's a bit stylized, but if we were trying to go for accuracy, like super accuracy, then that might be an issue. All right, let's knock him back and let's do a bit of line work. Jake, hey Ben, long time watcher and admirer, first time commenter. Great to have you, Jake. Do you do any typical warm-ups when you sit down to draw, wavy lines, circles, etc.? Do you prefer to jump right in? For these kinds of things, I like to, well, I don't know if I like to. I tend to just jump right in, but I think it would be a good idea, and particularly if we're working on some of this more like perspective-y kind of stuff, is to do like these exercises. Like, okay, how can we knock in some boxes in some like crazy perspectives, you know? Can we get them feeling like they're in the scene? And then, you can't even bloody see them. My apologies. Right, and then, alright, we can sort of have them keep sort of going back in space. And just like tumbling boxes. You've probably heard it a bajillion fucking times. Boxes are awesome. They are. It's the truth. Because most things can be broken down into boxes, and they really, really sort of help me understand stuff. Like, for example, this top part here. Right, this is just like a really flattened out sort of box. Right, just going back in space. Sebastian, I did. Yep. Finally picked one up. Christian, you need to work on your material, my friend. That was a swing and a miss, that one. How you going, man? How are those little guys going? Dutch and Maxi Boy. So this is where I'll come in and I'll really start to think, what am I looking on top of? Music, by the way, can you guys hear the music or no? Doesn't seem like it. Oh, that's annoying. My apologies. I'm listening to it. I'm having a great time. Let's have a look. Sound. Oh, this could be why you weren't hearing me correctly. Does this sound like a million times better? I bet you it does. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. You would think it would be my bloody first time streaming. It's alright. So I think of a lot of this as well, or the realism that you can kind of achieve, or the sort of space or the sense of 3D-ness comes down to like bringing thickness to things. Silvana, welcome. Thank you for your content. I'm trying to get into digital painting. Fantastic. How's it been going? Gabrielle, welcome. Sounds way better now. Fuck. How annoying. How annoying. Oh well. At least we're on the right track now. But here, so what I was talking about, for example, thickness here. There's like thickness here and here. There's thickness here and here. There could be a mistake that I make where I just merge this into one, which is fine for simplification. Nothing wrong with that. Right, so you got a plane here, and a plane here. Now I'm this isn't like a lesson. I'm doing it more for myself. But what I've found is actually being mindful of those little planes and thicknesses, and actually studying a lot of like, say, like Rembert Montold's work and like Kim Jung-gi's work, Dong Ho Kim's work. It's when they start adding detail, it's in context of these little transitions and these little stair-step planes. You know what I mean? Like if I was to do a wireframe, or if we was to put like a sticker or like run a Sharpie across the top of it, right? And this helps with character stuff as well. This can add like a level of realism. So even this little side light here, just giving that a bit of volume in the 3D sense, not the sound sense. Helps a lot just for the look and feel. Hopefully I'm making sense, because I'm still trying to piece these ideas together myself. Like it's just as a focused study, instead of it just being like off the cuff, you know. Even here, it could be easy to just bring this down and have that front bumper kind of connect directly down like that, but it doesn't. It kind of comes here and it juts outwards. So now we've got to account for that. So this has got to jut out because we're looking on top of it. Again, this is just a cube, but it's just stretched out like crazy. Right, so now we've got more of a bumper thing going on. And then we can add the license plate, because we've kind of got the center line. Now center lines, you could be mistaken that the center line would be about there, like it's kind of halfway between there, but it's technically not. Like if we were going to do it, it probably would be more like there-ish. Like it's like further away. It's not like bang in the middle. It's all these little things that I'm trying to like synthesize myself. It's like, oh shit, it's the best feeling. Like I'm enjoying myself a hell of a lot. And then I want to fold this into like my character stuff, and like actually start drawing scenes, and even coming out with like posts about like my sketchbook, and actually have like pen and ink drawings, you know. That's the goal. And I think that's a good way to think about study, is being able to use the things that you're learning straight away in context of what you're wanting to do. I've said this a lot, but now I'm actually putting it in practice again in a very like fresh in my mind sort of way. As soon as you can start adding things in context, that's when it becomes fun. And the stuff sticks like better than anything. Because then you've got, like, context is the key word there, right? I was trying to draw this car and the perspective was off. The back looked a little bit like off. So what do I need to do? Okay, well, if that's the vanishing point, but really the vanishing point needs to come back this way. Okay, cool. Make that adjustment in context of what I'm drawing, instead of just like a random box. Boxes are great. Nothing, like, as I mentioned before, they're fucking sick. But for really solidifying the ideas, doing stuff in context can really, really help. Rant over. Bevel is the word for the thickness on the corners of the cars. Good one, Super. Our in-house blender guru, our 3D bloody legend. Bullwinkle, how you doing? Yeah, Bullwinkle. Yep. Luckily, was able to get him. It came with the Cintiq, which is so useful. Like, I don't know why they've discontinued it. It's very odd. But they have their reasons, I guess. Alright, so let's have a look at this windshield. You've got this large gap here from the base of the hood up to the windshield itself. So let's see if we can replicate that. We've got this large gap here, but in perspective. Right, we can even make that maybe a little bit larger. Just because we still want to stylize it, you know. And then we've got, again, if we can think about a box, we can simplify these. What are they? Mirrors. The side mirrors into boxes, but still stylize them if you want, or not, whatever you want to do. But this is all good practice, right? Because even this little foreshortening of how the mirror connects to the truck, right? This is the same as how if we were like foreshortening a head, right? If we're looking down on the head, nose, brows, ears, right? We're not going to see as much of that neck, right? And it continues to foreshorten down, right? So it's all like fantastic practice. Now this isn't set in this scene, so this is going to look wrong, but hopefully you get the idea. It's just because I'm mainly do character stuff doesn't mean that I don't get so much value out of doing these kind of exercises. I love them. And my what's the word? My pen economy with my line work has become, even in the last like couple of weeks of just doing more traditional drawing in my sketchbook and that kind of thing, I can throw lines down a lot easier, and it does help if you've got like a screen tablet, etc., etc. But I'm just throwing lines down a heck of a lot easier than I was before doing that, or before spending the time. Now I might even turn the tires. Let's get a little crazy. Alright, so we can have the tires as if they're turned a little bit this way. Just for something a bit different. Now these back tires won't turn, so we'll just keep them kind of as is. Nope. But yeah, this is like understanding more about your perspective and that kind of thing. It can seem daunting, and yes it is, it definitely is. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, but as stuff starts to click, it just opens up a whole new world of just freedom, just absolute freedom. Because then there's nothing stopping us like drawing whatever we want on here. You know, I can then sort of draw, I don't know, a cat. I don't even know how to draw a cat. You get the idea. Now there's a cat on the hood in perspective, right? You start understanding that sort of stuff. It's just, yeah, awesome. Ghost bite beveling is my favorite thing in the world. There are no sharp edges in real life, and they tend to catch the light nicely. Definitely, yep. Got to find an easier way to use wireframes. Mine are always so wonky. I wonder. Oops, sorry, I got to catch up with the chat. My apologies. I've tested Procreate and Photoshop. I like the pressure sensitivity of Photoshop brushes. Best regards from Costa Rica. Thank you so much. Yeah, the pressure sensitivity of Photoshop brushes are cool. But you can play around with them, right? Rez, how you doing? Northern Lemon, don't they? I love older cars. Everything looks so same nowadays. I don't know. Ines, welcome. Res. I can empathize with that, definitely. Yeah, no, I agree. The classic cars are where it's at. Yeah, something I've found myself doing is trying to show more of the object than need be in that perspective. Does that make sense at all?
You sick of hearing lessons from a dude who got no handle. Yeah, all I got is questions. I never hold no answers. Bet you sick of hearing lessons from a dude who got no handle. Yeah, someone say me, tell me what to do. I think I'm going crazy. Someone take these problems.
Okay, let's add in
save me.
This little
Everything up in the air and
top
moon
roof, sun roof, depending on what time of day you're driving. This kind of curves down a little bit, so that's going to do the same. Add a bit of thickness. Tyrone, welcome. Have you ever tried doing this with the new hypercars? There's one called the Nilu 27 that's really cool looking. I haven't. It'll be perspective hell. Look, I'm trying to throw myself into the deep end with getting way better at perspective, so I've got no issues with that. I'll have to check that one out. Does the structure of the things you draw goes into your mental library, or do you need to do extra practice to add things to your mental library? Yeah, I've always thought about like the mental library thing. I don't think it clicks for me as much as, well, it's interesting because things and ideas and concepts and whatever click for different people. I've never actively thought about a mental library. I understand the concept, but personally I've never like, okay, cool, now I've got like cars in my mental library. I find it much more, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain my thoughts on it. It's kind of like the way I draw is I build a drawing up, right? And if I've got I guess the mental library builds itself up without you realizing it as much. I guess I don't know. I've never put too much thought into it. Doesn't mean that I don't have one or anything like that. It's just I've never really thought, okay, I'm going to do this specifically to build up my mental library. I've always just gone, all right, I want to draw some cool shit. Is this stuff I'm drawing at the moment looking any good? No. All right, let's get some reference. That's kind of the extent of my thought process with it. But if you were to analyze that, I guess you could say, okay, in the process of drawing different things, whether it be from reference or from other artists, style-wise and that kind of thing, I guess it does add to your mental library. But yeah, I don't know. I find it more useful to know how to, for example, like draw boxes and whatever, and then combine those two. Because I guess if like you asked me to draw this same thing tomorrow without looking at any reference, I could do it fairly accurately, but only because I have an understanding of perspective and sort of inventing shapes and whatever. Maybe I'm not thinking about it the right way, I don't know. Palisa! Hey Ben and everyone, just wanted to say I love your art style and that you're a huge inspiration. Thank you so much. And that you're a much love from South Africa. Man, we got bloody everyone coming in today. That's awesome. Let me try that again. If you can get the basic building blocks in your head, you'll be able to see them as you study. Yeah. Like when what's his face? Kim Jong-gi talked about like each line that he throws down informs the next line. That makes more sense to me than like I'm building up a visual library. But I guess if I've drawn something over and over and over again, like I can whip out this like head kind of mannequin thing without too much thought. Right? I can whip that out, throw a center line in, throw the nose in there, you know what I mean? That doesn't take me too much effort. But without understanding 3D forms and that kind of thing, like you notice like each line that I threw down informed the next. I got the basic 3D shape first, and then I found the brow, and then I put the indication of the nose, and then I found the center lines. You know what I mean? So they kind of go hand in hand. Hope that makes sense. What I want to do actually is now I'm in real danger of noodling on this for way too long. So I just want to do a quick analysis of where I'm at, get this back tie going, and then see if we can sort of whip some color on here. Get this back tie feeling a little bit more how I want it to. Mental library isn't something people actively make. It comes with experience, Ben. You do have one. It comes whenever you explain how to break shapes, like how you explain eyes. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Because sometimes people, I don't know, sometimes I take things literally. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to think about all the helmets that I've like remembered seeing. I don't know. I can't picture it until I start drawing. Like a baseball helmet. I used to play baseball. I know what baseball helmets look like. And until I start drawing, I can't picture this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, now that makes more sense. You know? So I guess, yeah, we all have one. But then do the people that have that thing where it's like miss a something where they can't visualize stuff? Does that, how does that work? It's hard to say because you're not in their head, you know? And this back tire is doing my head in. It's too big. Needs to fit around about there. Come out just a smidge. Yeah, look, that'll do. They'd have to exclusively use reference. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Are you getting this staticky clicky thing? The mic is plugged in. It could be because I've got so many fucking cords plugged in. Because I was doing some recording yesterday. And I was getting... Is it kind of like a tick, 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 tick. Oh, now my camera's gone. Oh my god. Are we back? No, it's not the phone sound. Weird. I don't know. Yep, we're back. Oh. All right. Okay, now let's take this. Wonder if Instagram folks are getting the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. Alright, let's add in maybe just the indication of the seats. Maybe the center console or whatever. Okay, we got something. let's do a color pass, hey? Yeah, Faha, I wonder. Clipopotamus, how you doing? Hey Ben, listening to you while you animating a film about a car. Very cool. How fitting. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Filthy plugin. Shout out. Links in the description. All right, so we're going to do our standard fill in. Just the outlines to give ourselves a just that shape to work within, right? Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to do the glass area because this is tricky because we're using a reference in a different angle, so the light's going to behave differently. That's all right. Well, I'll be prepared to fail, and I'm okay with it. Jake and Maya asked this a bit okay, but may have missed your response. How do you allow yourself to exaggerate shapes and colors when drawing from reference instead of getting bogged down in what's accurate? You've kind of... I heard Rembert Montold say this, which kind of rang true to me. It's like you've got to like, it sounds a bit extreme, but like you've got to kind of like impose your will on the canvas. Now that seems a little bit like woo woo or whatever, but it is kind of like you've got to consciously say, no, I'm not going to copy this reference. I'm going to try something different. Because for me, my issue with getting out of that reference bubble was the feeling that the drawing's going to come out bad. You know, it was that fear. So it was like, all right, if I stick close to the reference, it might turn out, it might not turn out bad. But it's like being willing for it to look wrong. That would be the biggest tip for me, just off the top of my head, to just get exaggerating. Play with shapes. You know, you'll soon, if you do it enough, you'll soon start to see what works and what doesn't for your tastes. But without trying, there's no way you're going to know. There's always just going to be stuck in that limbo of photo reference. There's nothing wrong with it, but if your goal is to step outside of that, then that would be my thoughts on that. Bullwinkle, you shouldn't rely on your visual library for accuracy. Use it for ideas and design. Drawing from imagination is extremely rare skill. People like Kim Jong-gi are freaks of nature. Always use reference. Yeah, I recommend using reference. But I'm trying to practice without reference or using reference and manipulating it, because that is also a skill that you can learn. And he says it himself. Constantinus, how you doing? I'm good. Alright, so I'm just going to whip in this like aqua color. It's like kind of a really nice color. It's kind of faded, you know. Alright, so then let's add in some of the darker colours. Hello. Got to add it on fill. Now hopefully this is going to add some character to it. We can come back through and add those real little details a bit later. Again, this is just a warm up. I do want to get to some character stuff later on today. Ben, do you listen to ABBA? No, I don't really listen to ABBA. Oh, Thungans. Good call. Constantinus, I purchased your Proko thing and it's good for the price. Black Friday sale. I have to take my time studying your videos. Also, I found out I need Blender to view the included 3D files. That's on my to-dos today, to add those 3D files to the Proko site so it shows up just natively in the browser. So then you shouldn't need Blender. Can I use your method for sketching and flat colors for practice and fun, or is it just for condensed professional work only? Can I use it? You can do it for whatever you want. There's no rules to any of this stuff. When I look at the mirror farthest from us, the connection point between the windshield and the hood. Yeah, true. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna fix that when we merge everything down, because it's gonna be too much of a pain in the ass to go back and like do the line work and blah blah blah. But no, good call. Very good call, super. We'll do some manipulation after the fact, definitely. But those are those little things, right? The illusions. Fix it in post. You bang on. You got it. Lace, quick question. How do you accurately pinpoint vanishing points when doing a perspective drawing, especially when the reference doesn't have visible vanishing points? I don't directly pinpoint them. At least at the moment, I'm just guesstimating. I know that these lines have to converge at some point out here. I know these lines have to do the same. Right, so it's really just a guesstimation. This isn't a 100% technical perspective drawing. This is just for fun. Yep, thumb guns. Now that's annoying me. I want to squish that in. That's all right. We'll fix it. Rafi, how you doing? I'll admit, despite having experience drawing cars, inventing the angles of the tires when turned is difficult due to how tires rotate in a car. Yeah, without the idea of the minor axis, right? Understanding the minor axis of cylinders, it'd be an absolute nightmare. Okay. Yeah, see, we've gone too far here and too far on this side. Oh, that's annoying me. That's all right. We'll keep plugging on. But this is the thing, right? That could also just be like if this was just a pen and ink drawing, couldn't do too much about that. So it could be like part of the charm in a way of like I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Because I mean, if you even like, because I've been studying a hell of a lot of like Kim Jong-il's stuff. Not all of his stuff is like perfectly accurate. Sometimes it's like far, far, far from it. So it's doesn't always have to be like the most, excuse me, accurate thing in the world. Constantinus, I remember a van YouTuber who travels that does art was interviewing many pro artists from S. Mark Hampton, you and others. I watched a bit of it, but it was nice hearing your input on things. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's Christian. He was in chat earlier. Ninja Shadow 2000, how you going? Mixstar, welcome back, my friend. Okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Next steps. Let's add a multiply layer. I want to see these shadows happening. Whoa. Get out of here. Actually, no, wrong. Incorrect. I want to add some of these lights. Or these lighter values. Just to get that indication of like the license plate. This little thing here. Some call them lights. And let's add in a bit of that orange pop. Jelaine, Ben, next time you should try designing a character inspired by a candy. I kind of want to do some of those little like challengey things, like doing a character inspired by like an octopus or a candy or like all sorts of stuff, just as like a challenge. And then being more active in the Discord and seeing how the community sort of tackles the same idea. I think that could be kind of cool. Definitely. It's cool how just these pops of color really gives it character. So let's see if let's add like a cooler. Now I'm just doing a multiply layer here for those playing at home. So I'm just gonna do something along this, like that, and then now we can see this dappled light. This is kind of a little bit too blue for my liking, but it's fine just for now. We can change the color in a moment. Now we can give ourselves some opportunities to show some of that form of the truck. Now there can be some nuance here with just how light works in general, and as the object is further away from the cast, like the object that is casting the shadow is further away from the object being cast upon, particularly in sunlight, it's going to be a lot blurrier, so we can use that to our advantage as well for just showing light fall off and all that fun stuff. Let's see if we can update this color a little bit. It's not super dark, right? I don't want to match it 100%. I've got no interest in doing it. Matching it 100%. But we can still get that idea. No, undo. Keep that same color and we'll just go through with the multiply layer. And then this whole back half is in shadow, right? If we're just following the reference. We don't have to, but could just do that really. Get the whole thing in there. So that gives that illusion. Now to hit the illusion even more. What are we gonna do? Any guesses? Say it out loud. We're going to ground the truck. Kind of ish. It looks a bit funky, but it's doing something. It's not perfect, but maybe it needs to be a little bit more desaturated because it's not. But also, right? This is another thing. This is the perception thing with the perspective. We can see all underneath because we're at this angle, right? Looking at this reference. If we're matching the reference ish, like enough for it to kind of work, we're not going to be seeing this pop out that much. It can still work. We can fudge it and it still kind of looks okay. But in reality, I think we would barely even see anything. And then we would just see the dappled light on the ground here. Some of the dappled light come up underneath the tire. Maybe a bit here underneath the car. And then something like that. And then you just see some of the dappled light. Yeah, so it's just the little things like that that can either make or break some of this stuff as well. Now we give it maybe a little bit more context because this is just like a normal layer. Let's add in that kind of warmer light of the sun. There's the sound again, bugger. I'm sorry guys, I don't know how to fix it without pausing the stream and doing some troubleshooting. I think we've had too many streams go smoothly in a row. It's about time that some shit hits the fan. Alright, so this is all just building up to build this illusion. Now we can do the same with the kind of hood of the car. So let's take a look. This isn't just going to be all a flat car. I mean, it could be a stylistic thing that you want to do, but we could move this closer towards the yellows and desaturate it and have like, think about the sunlight hitting directly down on top. These are going to be the planes that are hit most by the sun. So they're going to be a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit more desaturated. Now we're using both our observation skills and looking at the reference as well. Does Australia have the raptor bird known as the cassowary? Yeah, we got... I don't know if they're wild here. They might be. We got them in zoos. And they're scary as fuck. I wouldn't want to mess around with them. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Fahar. Don't worry about the sound for now. It's annoying, but it's not a showstopper. Legend. I appreciate it. Super. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. Maybe we can do a little bit of the screen. Hello. Did that do anything? Ah, let's actually add it on top. I think it's a good idea to, add a screen layer. Pick like this darker color. Actually make sure it's a screen layer. Right, and add in, particularly on these darker colors, that indication of the top planes. Yeah, Dynamite Jason, yeah, it's Photoshop. Sorry, the comments on Instagram are shithouse, so I can't not the comment, not the people commenting, or the comments of the people, the user interface of Instagram on live streams is shithouse. So if you do want to comment and you want to make sure that I see it, hop on over to YouTube, because I will miss it. Alright, so we want to make sure we find these top planes here. Jake. Clip it. Constantinus. Yeah, it is. But the cool thing is, if we wanted to, what I don't think you can do in Clip Studio is hue shifts. So let's say, I reckon it's time. Let's merge it all down. Alright, so let's say that we wanted to add a little bit of color variation in these shadows. Let's see how... Yeah, see, we've got the volumes working-ish without the line work, which is nice. What we can do is we can just duplicate that. So if we wanted some like hue shifts within the shadows, we can do that. So like every color can be slightly different depending on how much variation that you want. So you can come here and everything can just be a little bit wiggly, for lack of a better word. Which I like to do. And then we can go extreme with it if we wanted to. We can do like every color is completely different. What's also cool is whipping on luminance lock so that it locks it to this value. So then we can make sure that it sticks to this sort of value range, or this luminance. You know? Jason, I know, right? Commit Sudoku. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Jason. I think there's room in the market for a chair that is squeak proof, particularly for content creators. Because the amount of times I've had to redo shit because of this bloody chair. Now we could really come through and clean up all this. And in particular, we can come through and fix up our mistakes with the perspective. So we wouldn't be seeing nearly as much of that. Whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying. The mirror. And in doing this, we're going to have to make some adjustments without getting noodly, because I can feel it coming. I can just sit here for hours and just go and go and go and go and go. We got to make some adjustments for the window. Alright, yeah, there's more adjustments that need to be made, but I'm not going to be getting too finicky with it. Yeah. There are things that need to change, but it is what it is. We could, before we leave it, actually add in what is casting the shadows. Just a little indication of it. And that looks terrible. So let's not do that. You can imagine it. I need some thinking. I need some to think about that. How I'd want to maybe block that in. Maybe we just do it in the background, like we do a little shape. In the background. I don't know. And that's where I could add in See, even the little vignette is going in perspective as well. So these are all like the dark leaves in the, like in the background or whatever. And then on top of that, yeah, I really don't know. Because some of them are going to be in light. Which is going to give it more context, if you know what I mean. Poor Winkle, bloody hell. Constantinus. Oh man, no, I don't think I'm going to get cancelled for saying that Instagram needs to update their UI. Super, you were recording your devlog yesterday and there was one section where I had 20 seconds of just chair squeaking. It's a nightmare, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I was looking at a Herman Miller because I'm sitting on this thing all day long. I might as well get something that's going to last me. But I don't know. Second hand is why I'm not going nutso with just spending cash here, there and everywhere. The Aeron would be lovely. But yeah, so you kind of get the idea what I was going for. You like a little motif and blah blah blah. But yeah, I want to keep going with this because there are also things that we could play around with, like the reflected light. So we could even get like a big airbrush. Understand that the light's hitting down here, the reflected light, and that's going to bounce back up. You know, to give it more of a natural kind of look, and that's going to affect the tire here a little bit, and this tire underneath here as well, and blah blah blah. So we could just go and go and go. But I'm going to stop and we're going to do some character stuff. Okay? So yeah, this is a cool challenge. You know, step out of the comfort zone, try and first stretch that perspective muscle, which I've been working on. I've also just been sitting down and no, that's ruining it. Sitting down and just drawing my environment, whether it be the living room, the kitchen, whatever. Nope, stop. Noodling, stop it. That's enough. Stop it. Stop it. Right. Now, okay, fine. SIAG. Happy birthday. Thanks for popping in. You know what's scarier than an American grizzly bear? 1,000%. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh, Australian animals are so fucking blah, blah, blah. Americans have got bloody grizzly bears. Maybe some WD-40. That's a good idea, actually. I got some in the cupboard. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I just need to tighten up some screws. A bit of WD-40, tighten up some screws. I reckon we'll be alright. We'll give it a shot anyway. We'll see next stream how it goes. Artistic. Investing into a good chair is like investing in a good mattress. Go with the best. True. Alright. So this is fun. I like this. Thank you for indulging me on this little adventure. There's a lot that I'd want to do with it. I've just got to do this. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone, please. This doesn't make any sense not being in shadow or in more shadow. I just cannot move forward. Okay, that feels... No, I don't like that either. Let's stop. No more. Undo. That's fine. I just want to keep playing with it. Okay, let's not. Okay, stop. Character stuff. Let us get up some Pinterest. Alright, let's get it up so you guys can see it. Would be helpful. That's tricky. Yeah, I want to like this is kind of cool. Let's whip him in there. Now I believe you can access the stream figure references that I'm saving here. Links in the description of YouTube. I'm pretty certain. Now I like these subtle ones, like trying to find how to get someone to look like they're walking. Like what does that look like? From an anatomy standpoint, from a gesture standpoint, the subtlety in it. Like even this front facing like walking could be fun to play around with. I've also started to like pause videos of people. Like I was watching just like someone walking down a street. There's like these 4K Ultra HD whatchamacallits, videos of people just walking down the street, and then you just see people going about their business. They're not posing, they're not doing all these like oh la la, all this kind of stuff. It's just real people. And then I'll just pause the video and then I'll just try and sketch them. I like this one as a challenge. Let's give it a go. Is there a glitch with it or issue with Photoshop? I saw it doing some actions without you touching the screen. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't looking at it, so who knows? Don't wombats eat people? Artistic, you cannot be serious. They'll bite you if they don't want to be near you. Wombats will bite you. Drop bears. Super knows. Super will be safe if he comes down here. I can't remember if you're already here. For some reason, it's tough when you don't meet people in real life, and I'm just looking at screen names because it's hard to get context on the conversations that we've had previously. Smallsy the creator, great to have you. Yeah, Huntsmans are fine. Huntsmans are they're like pets. They're all good. You guys have wolf spiders. Yep. The feral pigs, they would be scary as well. Yeah, definitely. Sebastian. The Cintiq is bloody magnificent. I love it. I highly recommend you guys checking out if you can get something like this, whether it's a Cintiq or XP pen or Huion or something, just like even secondhand. I'm loving it personally. For multiple reasons, but one of them is my theory that because I'm actually looking at what I'm drawing, I am training my hand-eye coordination, which is going to help in traditional as well. So that's the theory anyway. Ben, is your XP pen the screen with the red circle dial on the left-hand side? I think I have that one. That's the old one I used to have. Jay, how you doing? Jay. A Canadian, that's right. Canadian. Sorry, it was English or Canadian. My apologies. I'm sorry. Always shake your clothes out. Yeah, if you keep shoes outside, fucking bang the living shit out of them. Barbed rotten, how dare they not? Seeing prisms. Do you have the Cintiq with touch? Wondering if I missed out. I do. For 90% of the time, I turn the touch off. So I don't think you missed out too much on that. Barbed rotten. I'm glad. Hopefully, there's many more things to learn. All right. Let's see. Let's get some character stuff going. I'm going to make this available. Oh, also, I might just do, before we get into the character stuff, if you'll indulge me for 2 moments, I'm currently working on... Excuse me. I'm currently working on I'll just say it, a lighting, value and lighting course. That's going to be, the goal is to get it out before Christmas. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you're signed up to the newsletter. I'll be posting it everywhere as well, so you don't have to be too concerned. I'm also thinking about doing a live stream, going through some of the things as well, which could be cool. I'm also thinking about doing something through Discord at the same time. We'll see, but links in the description for that. Proko has also got a Black Friday sale going on, 20% off. My walkthrough has never been on sale before, so added it on Proko. There's also a 2-hour exclusive Proko content where I'm demoing and voicing over how I go about doing head turnarounds as well, so go check that one out. The Filthy plugin, you know where it is. All the links in the description. I do a midway plug, and that way we can just cruise off into the end of the stream, and I hit the main points and we're done. Prashan, how you doing, my friend? I've got my little guy with me. That was sick. I've got to chat to you about these. These are very cool. All right, let's get back to it. I'm going to start with a loosey-goosey kind of sketch. Trying to just throw some shapes down. Not going for likeness. Thinking about this horizon line, which I've been more focused on as of late. All right, what am I looking at? Am I looking at the tops of the shoes, the tops of the road? You know what I mean? Trying to find that. It's a long lens as well, so there's not going to be too much distortion, but maybe we try and add some on like another I don't know. Let's just take it one step at a time. All right. First gesture. Kind of want him bent over a little bit more. Sort of moving forward. It sounds like my house in summer, just shaking clothes and checking shoes with spiders and scorpions, yeah. Yep, especially in summer. Constantin, a Cintiq 24 Pro or the new 27 Pro? The old 32-inch Pro that is out of circulation, which I was very lucky to get. See, also checking mailboxes while I'm delivering mail for any... Ah, yep. What was your first snake? Oh yeah, I don't want to be around snakes regardless. Not fun. Vinny, how you doing? Ah, it was great to see you, Prashant. It was awesome. Yeah, Lightbox is freaking amazing. You heading there next year? Kiara, do you ever burn out and how do you push through? I don't know if I've burnt out yet, touch wood. But I do get points where I'm like, oh, I've just got to chill. And the way that I like to do that, because me personally, I don't like sitting still. I have a tough time unless I'm absolutely exhausted and I feel like I've done what I need to do for the day. I have a tough time just like sitting and doing nothing. I don't enjoy doing that. It's just not something that works for me. So like, for example, if I'm burnt out, well, not even burnt out, but it's like, all right, I've been drawing a lot. Like, I'm planning, because I'm putting together this like lighting and value course, right? I imagine I'm going to be doing a lot of like rendering and lighting and explanations, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll switch it up within the same activity. Instead of doing rendering, maybe I just work on my perspective, you know, do something completely different, try and get my imaginative perspective working exactly how I want it, you know, or just working towards that. Or I'll do some sculpting, or I'll do some 3D work, you know what I mean? So having different outlets but still in art helps. Or I'll do some coding. I love doing that as well. So those are kind of my go-tos. Or I do it every day, but some form of exercise, whether it be the gym or whatever. Going for a walk. Sometimes that's all I need. I'm like, oh yeah, how's that? I've been in my office for 16 hours a day without talking to anyone, going out with friends, you know. I've really neglected that in the past, and even this last America trip really opened my eyes to how much that can refuel you being around people, because sometimes I can get a little bit hermity. Like, not that I don't like talking to people. I love, like, I can be a default introvert, but I can just as well be extroverted in the right scenario as well. So it's a weird one. But yeah, that is something I've learned from this past American trip, is just, I've got to get out and talk to people, interact with humans, you know. But yeah, so we've got a little gesture here. Now, how did all this, my apologies. How did all this help with this? It's the little things, right? It's how these feet interact with one another in perspective. This perspective isn't exactly like this perspective, but we can analyze this and we can say, okay, this foot is going to be smaller because it's behind his body. It's not going to be crazy smaller because this is a longer lens, meaning that this is going to be somewhat less distorted than if it was like a wide angle lens. But just thinking about things like that, his foot isn't going to be landing out here. It's going to be over here, and we can then make that same adjustment in our little world that we've created. Right? To make it look correct-ish. Now that foot looks wonky as hell, but at least we've got the idea kind of the perspective, right? Thank you, Jai. Definitely be there next year. Yeah, me too. I was looking at booking flights already, but I can't book them that far in advance. I'm very thankful it was just a small garter snake I had to use my jacket handle to get it free of the box. Yeah, nice. Funnily enough, as an Australian, I've never seen a snake in the wild. So, there you go. Constantinus. Oh, nice one. It's a good little machine. I love it. Faith, have you worked in the industry? Yes. But I came into it in like a roundabout way. I've probably talked about this many times. So my apologies for those of you that have heard it a lot. But just long story short, I came into, like, I've been drawing on and off most of my life. I just like getting better for the sake of getting better. I started posting on Instagram. Then I used my knowledge of sort of marketing and business and that kind of stuff to create my first product, which is the Gumroad tutorial, which then created it into a full-time gig for me. And then it's just through social media and that kind of stuff, opportunities started to pop up in the industry, whether that be teaching and doing workshops and also doing some work for studios as well. But this is my main gig, which is the social media stuff and me selling products and selling my own art now as well with the art drops, which is cool. So that, in a nutshell, gives you a bit of context as to what's been going on the last like 2 years, work-wise or business-wise. And even how I was talking about with this car, right? The thickness, the bevels, thank you, Super. Right? On a micro scale, particularly at this scale, even getting that indication of thickness on the inner part of the glasses. Why not? You know, give it that little bit of realism. Can go a long way. And it's sketchy at the moment, I know, but even the brim of the hat, why not give it just that little bit of thickness? $24K lyric, yeah, I know. There's something going on with whatever the issue is. I don't know with the audio, so my apologies if there's a clicking noise. Lana, welcome. Welcome and welcome home. Caddywhack. You're too kind. Thank you for popping in. Have I ever been to the Outback? Depends what you classify as the Outback. I've never been to Darwin or the Northern Territory. But I've been in like bushland. Like, but it's not like four-wheel driving out in the red desert sand where if you get broken down, you're kind of screwed kind of Outback. Faith. Yeah, at least from my experience. No worries on the questions. It's cool. Like, part of the reason I do this is to have a chat and just to have fun and draw, you know. What jobs did they usually come to you for / considered yourself doing? Concept? Yeah, there's been a few of those. I've turned a lot of stuff down as well because it just didn't sort of, I don't know, I was either busy or because I've always got projects on, right? Because I'm self-employed, so I've got to decide, okay, there's like opportunity costs. Well, there's a thing called an opportunity cost, right? Where, yes, I could get, if an opportunity came and I could take that, but it also takes away my ability to spend time building this business right now, whether it be through creating more courses, whether creating more content on YouTube, on Instagram, creating more products, whether that be more art things, like sculpts or prints or that kind of, you know what I mean? So there's like opportunity costs. And when you start doing this kind of stuff, you got to take that into account a lot as well. Sarah, hey, just wanted to say that I started watching Arcane as well as I watched Clouds. It reminded me of your artwork and has inspired me to expand my your creative style. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you so much, Sarah, and thanks for popping in. Claudio, how you doing? Huge style in Arcane. They do love showing off planes. They do. Matt Hall. Just saw your Proko live stream and loved it. Glad you enjoyed it. Oh, you met someone from Adelaide recently? Yeah, me. Matt Hall, have you ever tried drawing with your opposite hand? I've just started learning to draw and I'm learning with both hands because why not? Go for it. I haven't. Faith, I'm in two minds of like even mentioning anything about portfolios because I've never made one. All my stuff is just online. But I'll give my 2 cents on if I were to make one and I wanted to work for a particular studio or whatever, I would just think of myself as a problem solver. Why would they hire me in the first place? And see if you can understand the problems that studio face. Do they have any case studies of what they've worked on? could you do things differently or showcase your work in context of how you might solve a problem? Like, that's how I would tackle it. Showcasing my thought process and problem solving skills just as much as like the finished art pieces, if that makes sense. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I've not created a quote unquote portfolio before, so, but that's how I would tackle it. I might get some people on to like answer that question, because I get that a lot and I just don't know. I used to live in Adelaide and now he's a Universal Studios tour guide. That's cool. Now I know 2 people from Adelaide. There you go. We're a good group here in Adelaide. Most of us. I know a few dickheads, but you get that everywhere. Now, answer me this. In America, is it normal to have a kettle? Let that sink in. I'm just going to turn on the fan. Okay, interesting. Like, yeah, the electric plug-in ones, that's what I've got. That's what we've got here. All right, really quick, back to the drawing. You notice how I'm like really simplifying stuff. Here I see long and shorter, right? So this is like, let's say this is X and Y. Right, so here I'm keeping this extra long and then shorten this down a lot, right? So from a style point, I've like just condensed some things. Oh, also, I've seen more coffee makers than kettles, but it's yeah, me too, Prashant. That's what I found. Jason, I'm America from California, and I have a kettle. Well, there you go. Yeah, Lana, you definitely have one. I see. Probably for people who like to use French presses or pour over, that's fair. Depends on the person. I have one. Barbed rotten. Debbie, tailoring your portfolio to be hired by a company or to land a specific role is kind of different than having a collection of your artwork in one place. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't not have one. Arjun B7 in Britain and most of European countries. Yeah, fair. Yeah, same here in Australia. Everyone's got a kettle. No, but there are some of us intelligent enough to have one in the house. Nice, Reese. Yeah, lots of espresso. The Keurig ones. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Okay, fair, super. Yeah, that makes sense. We nuke our water in the microwave. Holy shit. Not typical, but many of us do. Can't live without mine. Seeing prisms, yeah. I don't think I've ever made, like, put water in the microwave to make it hot. I guess I have with, like, soup, maybe. No, sadly, very soon. Oh, man. 2 minutes already for tea. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. It seems wrong. But it makes sense. Is tea a big thing in Australia? Yeah, because we come from, like, our heritage is, like, mostly English, right? That guy's got some sweet shoes. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, also, something that I wanted to show you. This little thing here. Again, not sponsored or anything. And this costs like 40 bucks, this little thing. I'm thinking about making my own, if I'm honest. But what I wanted, one problem I had, this is a complete, like, 180 tangent time, but what are you going to do? The issue I was having was with the Filthy plugin, or just in general. Like, there's no smoothing if I wanted to get, like, really smooth. I could do it because I've got a large screen, right? But if I'm, like, getting right in the nitty gritty and I just want to, like, smoothly do some stuff, I can do it because I've got practice with doing smooth lines. But I found this little plugin which does, like, the pull string on every mouse movement. And you can kind of increase it by, like, a lot, so you can get, like, super smooth, and then couple that with the Filthy plugin, and you get, like, really, really smooth lines. I've just been playing around with it, and it's kind of fun. So, yeah, this is called, like, HEJ Stylus. This is just for the Mac. I'm on a trial at the moment of it, but there's all this other stuff that I just don't need. So I'm even thinking about bundling something like this in that works with Windows and Mac with Filthy to then be able to do it, to smooth it regardless of it not being able to do it on Photoshop. Oh, you can't see the plugin? Sorry, it was here. So it's, yeah, HEJ. Again, not sponsored, just something that I was playing around with this week. All right. Back to the drawing. So I really want to show that stepping on the ground, like we've made contact here. You've never made coffee before. I mean, my making coffee is just instant coffee, boiling water, done. No, Lana, I never used to be a coffee drinker. No, that's a relatively recent adventure, you could call it. We've got some real funky laces. But here, this is all opportunities to get better at perspective. Right? How do we turn this foot and this shoe in space. And a lot of it is trying to use like your mind's eye. It's like, all right, I want to imagine it right there in front of me. And that looks weird as shit, so we'll do it again. I think I had it kind of right here. Okay, now thinking about the box in 3D space. This is kind of the deal. Right. This is what we want to achieve, this feeling of dimension. Now, boxes aren't always perfect for this kind of stuff, but this is kind of what I'm going for. And a note as well, when I'm simplifying things into boxes, this doesn't mean that the shoes have to come out to this edge of the box and come to this edge and come to this edge, and they have to fit in. It's just kind of like an idea more than an explicit thing that it actually has to line up. Like the bottom of the shoe has to be at the bottom of this box exactly. It's not like that at all. When you put water in the microwave to get hot, it doesn't stay hot for as long. Oh, Reese, you got an automatic pop open lid kettle. I ordered coffee in a cafe a few years ago, and I told the guy it was my first coffee, and he sat me down and he gave me all different kinds to try. What a bloody gentleman. Maybe I should try that. Like, hey, I would just go to all different coffee shops. I've never tried coffee before. Seeing a lot more of the soul for sure, yeah, definitely. Now, what will make me a filthy heathen for some is that I grew up in the American South and tend to prefer my tea and coffee iced. I love iced coffee and iced teas. Northern Lemon, how do you go about making a living at Art Ben? Hopefully, didn't finish typing and bumped send. Go back about 15 minutes and I gave a complete breakdown of sort of how I do that. That doesn't make any sense. It probably is not heating the water up evenly. Yeah, no, it's probably like colder in the middle and it just heats up the edges. So are you now a coffee drinker, Lana? Have you got the bug? Speaking of bug, Photoshop is not behaving. Okay. Let's think about this. This always gets me. So we got the side of the shoe. We might not see much of the other side of the shoe there. That feels right-ish. Feels okay. And if I'm honest, if it feels right, it's right. I don't care really if it's technically correct. I also want to start going back through like work from say like a year ago of myself and like critiquing it and showing what I'll do differently. This shoe's kind of clipping through where I want it to, so. Maybe even give it a bit of a bend. Just for a little bit of character. Yeah, that feels more in line with the rest of the sketch. So now instead of just this box, it's kind of like, this is more exaggerated, but you sort of get what I'm saying. That kind of thing. Yeah, I think he had a passion for coffee. Yeah, I can see that. Where he's like, oh, let me show you. Drawing shoes is difficult. I agree. I bloody agree. But we got there-ish. Now, let's take a look at this. How can we simplify this hand? Right? I'm seeing 3 main shapes. I mean, some people call them fingers, right? You can see that obviously. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have to get perfect with them. But what I'm trying to look at is the relationship between them. What angle are they? There's one here, and then one down here. So they kind of swoop that way. So if we do the same thing here, so we come here and go 1, 2, and then 3, but then connect these two to be part of the hand, and then have this one, the finger, kind of being there, finger there, finger there, and then that finger coming up past the cup. Does that make sense? It looks a bit funky, but it's fine. Right, hands a little bit large. I do like larger hands, but let's just relax on this one just for the moment. And all this is going to be foreshortened. So we've got the hand there. And in reality, these are kind of going to be connected to the knuckles, so we don't want to completely just remove that connection to the back of the hand. And then, again, thinking about perspective, like even what would the nails be doing? Right, we'd be seeing more of this nail here, but then this nail might go back in space a little bit more. Right, and then this nail we might only be seeing like a little sliver. Just little things like that can make the difference, but I mean his hand kind of looks a bit mangled at the moment. Let's try that again. Alright, so finger here, and nail. Cool. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it just takes me a few goes to get it to feel right. And that looks a lot better. Don't be afraid to start again. Still a little bit large, but what are you going to do? That's fine. Barb Rotten, yeah, she's tricky as. Is Kim Jong-gi more feeling and less accuracy? No, Kim Jong-gi is just both feeling and accuracy working together in a symphony of just cool shit. If you can get your hands on it, I'd recommend getting some of his sketchbooks, or even just like looking at some of the images online. And what's even more interesting is his unfinished stuff, because you see some like not bad drawings, but not super accurate, and even just like little thoughts. Like, I want to utilize my sketchbook not to necessarily show anyone, but to like figure stuff out. Like, if I wanted to take this guy and try to like fisheye lens him, you know, how would we go about doing that? So this is kind of our grid. So we'll be looking up. This would be facing towards us, and then this would be going backwards in space, like a lot. We'll be seeing the top of the, or underneath the cap, let's say. There's his ear. There's the cup, which might be covering his face completely. There's his fingers. See, these are the exercises that are hopefully going to get me a lot better just in general. They're a brain teaser, and every ounce of my being is just like, no, it's too tricky. It's fucking too hard. Just let me do a flat thing that I'm used to. But if I can get good at this, the absolute freedom that I could get is just going to be so worth it. Right, so this is going to bow out the further away it is from that center line. Now we're going to be looking at the top of the foot, because the whole perspective has changed, right? Now let's think about this. Top of the foot. Top of the foot. Better-ish, but let's just sort of maybe rotate it down a little bit more. Alright, so just doing these little exercises. This is the kind of stuff I'm going to utilize my sketchbook for. And if something happens and it looks cool, yeah, I'll share it. But that's not going to be the norm for a long time, I don't think. And just setting that expectation for myself, it just takes a lot of the stress out. Right, even now, why? So this is called 5-point perspective, or like curvilinear perspective. So you've got the left vanishing point, the right vanishing point, the up vanishing point, and the down vanishing point, and then the center point. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in no particular order, right? And then they all just converge. But this is fun. Like this is freedom. Like if I can get this to a point where I'm just spitting these out as confidently as I am these ones, oh, love life, you know. And a part of it is also the figuring it out. That's the fun of it. Yeah, I'm not going to hit it every single time. And that's cool. It's not fun. Just setting that expectation up in my own head. Race or res. Yeah, this is where I think you've just got to, as I mentioned before, like a great way that Rembert Montauld put it is you impart your will onto it. You just decide that, okay, at this moment I am going to stylize this character and I'm going to push the shapes, and it's going to look wrong and shit's not going to go well, but that's okay. And then you do that enough times and then you figure out ways to make it look right. And this is where, again, then you couple that with the study of other artists, and you couple that with the study of different styles. And you say, I like the way that this person does eyes, and I like the way that this person does their figures. And you say, okay, they've solved those problems in an elegant way that I want to try and put into my own workflow, for lack of a better word. Right, I think as well, if we're thinking about, so this is just for me, like I'm trying to figure this stuff out right here, so I'm just going to do this as like a little exercise. Okay, so the cubes are going inwards. Right to that center vanishing point. So, with that in mind, this foot, right, in perspective, this top of this foot, if we look at it in a top view, this foot will be here. Let's say, so this is just like the top view of that shoe. This foot is going to be over here somewhere. Right, so there's distance between these two. So in perspective, in this perspective, I think this foot will be pushed back a fair bit, which then could give it more depth, which is something that I've got to work on, because I tend to want to show more than, I think I mentioned it earlier, like I did a little bit here with the car. All right, I'd want to maybe even angle, or my natural inclination is to show more of the license plate, right? But that's in perspective, that's not what it will be. It would be way more foreshortened. So that's kind of something that I'm trying to drill out of my head. So that would be going back that way. Right, and just, I don't know, just plain. Just plain. That kind of looks wonky as hell, but you know what? We'll just undo it, and then it never happened. Don't worry about it. Will you do video studies to help learn posing through action, low frame animation of video reference to study action, gesture, and forms? That's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. Seeing Prisms, thanks for popping in. You have a great night. Northern Lemon, I really like the way your lines flow. Have you ever done anything with animation? I haven't. SF, I appreciate it. So I've been having success with drawing the head lately by drawing an oval for the cranium first and imagining the oval was rounded football or rugby ball, and it has been a game changer. Hell yeah. That's perfect. Because that works for you. That's what I've said many times. It's like, what works for some might not work for others. So there's no one right way of doing any of this stuff. So now I want to figure out if I start adding primitive cubes, how would they fit in perspective, you know? And this is sketchbook stuff. This is what I want to fill my sketchbook with, is me figuring it out. I'm not trying to do a performance for people that are going to one day view my sketchbook. It's not a sacred thing to me. At least not the sketchbook that I'm working in at the moment. And I wish like I would have thought about it that way a lot earlier. Because then I could just figure stuff out a lot faster. And these would converge quite fast, depending on the angle. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, it's training your brain that art is a process and experimentation is growth. Your vids have actually really helped me with that, and I'm really grateful. Res, I'm so glad. K44RBON, how you doing? Action Gamer, what name of your art style? Is it cartoon style? I guess you call it stylized, but I don't even know what stylized means, really. Lana, wow, that car looks so good. I appreciate it, Lana. What is photorealistic art means? Can you show some examples of how it looks? I mean, you could just Google that, if I'm honest. Just photorealistic art. Cube be like, you're primitive. No, you. Cam, hi Ben, you seem very comfortable with shape language. Is there any tips you have on improving in that area? Testing a bunch of things out. And you'll soon get to understand what your natural inclination at this point in time is. Being fully prepared to update it as you find new information. If that makes any sense at all. I think there is this like trepidation that I used to have as well, and I still kind of do, with, oh, I've got to pick an art style, I've got to pick one, and I cannot step away from that. No way. I've got to pick it, and that's what I've got to be known for. Whereas I think if the thought process was more so, what interests me? This is going to be fluid. I'm going to try this out, try this out, try this out. Oh, this feels good. Let's run with that for a while and see how it goes. And be more like that instead of feeling like, oh, I don't know. Because then you get like analysis paralysis. Because you're like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? And then you keep swapping and changing. Just know that at this point in time, it's going to be different from like 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you know, if you want it to be. If that makes any sense at all. I hope it does. See, this is another thing, right? We're looking down, and thank you for indulging me on this like perspective adventure I'm going on, because it's kind of what's really at the front of my mind at the moment. We're looking down at this character, right? We're seeing the top of stuff, top of the nose, top part of the ears, and etc., etc. Now with the neck, I'd have a tendency to want to draw the neck as if I've drawn the character kind of front on, where you see the full neck here. Because if you do that here, it looks a little bit weird. What we've got to do is we've got to be mindful that we're not going to see barely any of that neck. Now this is tricky. This hand is going to be really a pain in the ass. And I think we'll leave it after either successfully doing the hand or not. What's the time? 1:17. Flavio V, how you doing? I appreciate you. Barbed Rotten, that was my issue last year when I was returning to art, and it was really hard because I had all these ideas but no style. Now I just do whatever and apply what I've learned, building my style. Exactly right. No, that's a great way to think about it, Barbed. Faith, I aspire to be able to draw like you do someday. Thank you so much for being an inspiration to me, Faith. You're very kind. Thank you so much for popping in. Rest, yeah. I'm always playing. I'm always looking for the next thing, you know. For better or worse. Okay, so let's think about this. If we look at the top view. Okay, we've got the hat. We've got the cup. Okay. His hand. And finger is here on top of the cup. Okay, so his hand's kind of coming across his body. I'm like procrastinating drawing the hands, so I'm just going to draw a bit of the hoodie. Let's just get the cup where I want it. And if I'm honest, I think all of this could move upwards, because his head's kind of poking forwards here. Alright, let's simplify these shapes. If we imagine the hand or the palm first. Wrapping around. See, this is a tricky part about invention, right? This is where I'd get reference, if I'm honest. Nah, not happening. I'm fried. Let's just leave the cup there, and that can be a challenge for next time. How would we position that hand using perspective. No, because it's kind of like a weird... I'm going to imagine that he's holding it a little bit differently, just for the time being. And that's fine. Okay. With that, I reckon we will call it a day. I think it's important to remember that this is you sharing your journey and what you learn along the way. Exactly right. Your goal for stylization and freedom doesn't fully align with what I'm aiming for right now. I need way more structure in how I go about it, and that's okay. Yeah, exactly. 1000%. Catch you later, Super. Thanks for popping in as always. Our resident blender guru. No worries, Faith. Hopefully we'll catch you next time and I can answer more questions. Apologies, Action Gamer. We're going to be heading off. Lana, thanks for popping in as always. You have a great night. That was the first time. Oh, SF was the first time. A nice one. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thanks for popping in. Barbed, I'll catch you in the next one, hopefully. I appreciate you, Lana. Catch you later, Devi. Catch you later, Prashan. Catch you later, Stev. That you're a good reference and your work is very good. Thank you so much, Stev. Thank you. All right, Instagram, you bloody legends. Thanks for putting up with the odd portrait streams. But yeah, just ultra quick recap. Started off with this little color. Fun little color thing, and then ended up here doing some perspective-y kind of stuff. So yeah, good stream. I've learned a bit. Hopefully you guys did as well. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. Links in the description for all the stuff that is going on in the Ben Eblin Studios universe. And yeah, I think that's it. Same time next week. Sounds good. All right. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye for now. This is like walking away. And you're going to the same direction. Okay. Actually, goodbye.